Hey guys, welcome back to Bait and Tackle. I'm your host, Joe Frank. Welcome back to the channel. If you're new here, please subscribe. I've got today a freestyle jig mold, and I picked this up from Barlow's, as you can see. I picked this up from Barlow's a few weeks back, maybe a month or two ago, and it's the FST-6-A. Now, the one thing I've noticed about this mold is you can find the smaller size mold very regularly. It's pretty much everywhere available. But the bigger one, it took a while. It was gone for probably, I'd say at least a couple months, if not 6 months or more, because I've been trying to get my hands on one of these for a while, and I finally got one through Barlow's. Let's just take a look at this real quick. It's, like I said, it's a freestyle jig, so it's just the round head with an eyeball. And this one in particular does 3/16 smallest, quarter, 5/16, 3/8, 7/16, and a half. So we're gonna go ahead and pour one of each of these. The only thing that concerns me is that the hook sizes are a little bit smaller than I would like for them to be. So the smallest one is actually 1/0. The next one is 2/0, next one 3/0, next one 4/0, next one 5/0, next one 6/0. So I'm gonna change the sizes of those hooks. And by the way, the mold tells you to use a Mustad style 32-746, which is just a 90-degree angle jig hook, a standard jig hook. But what I found out was a good replacement was a Gamakatsu 114 is a good replacement for those hooks, which I have a bunch of. So we're going to be using some of those, and again, I get all my stuff from Barlow's, hooks, all that stuff. We're also going to need some keepers to go with this as well. That'll go in there to hold the bait. And I've got the lead heated up right now, so let's go ahead and get into this. We'll pour them, and then I got another special thing for you too. I got some new Nova Stone powder paints from Barlow's that we're going to test out in this video too, and they come out looking really snazzy. That is a Chartreuse orange, and then I've also got like a black with a Chartreuse, and then just straight up Chartreuse, and I think I've got a pink as well. But we're going to do a couple different colors. I really like that black Chartreuse. I think I'm going to do a couple of those, and maybe we'll even do some of these. But the colors turned out really, really well. So we're going to paint those in those colors, so then that way it's kind of a 2-for-1. You get to see a new mold, and you get to see some new paints. So stay tuned, let's do this. Okay, so real quick, I'm just going to show you what we're doing here as far as the setup and the mold goes. We need a couple of these bait keepers. And we need them for every single one. We're going to do all of them. So we're going to quick put these in. And like I said, I don't have all the hook sizes, but I don't want them that small to begin with. And some of these I can't even actually fit a bigger hook in the actual cavities. So we're just gonna try this out. I think I've got a plan right now. Probably need to put the hooks in first. So I'm gonna use a 3/0 hook in the 3/16 cavities. And then I'm going to use a 4/0 hook in the quarter ounce cavity. Then I'm going to use another 4/0 for the 5/16. Okay. Then for the rest of them, for 3/8, 7/16, and half, I'm going to use a 5/0. So again, these are Gamakatsu 114s. Having some issues getting this one in because I think I needed to put the hooks in before I put the bait keepers in. That makes it a little bit easier. There we go. Okay, all good there. And again, 5/0 for the last two big ones as well. And the last one actually could take a 6/0, but I don't have any 6/0s. So I'm going to go ahead and finish up putting the bait keepers in. Close this up and we're ready to pour. So just make sure that your mold closes properly. I'll give you a quick view of that. Oh, of course, one of the hooks had to slide out. And a bait keeper moved as well. Try not to move this too much. There you go. Okay, so 3/0, 4, 4, 5/0, 5/0, 5/0. Okay, and we got the bait keepers in every spot there. Close it up, make sure it fits tight. It does. If you got a rock solid tight fit, you won't see any gaps there. Okay, I'm going to try to do this without getting in the way of the camera too much, but I'm going to pull out my drip pan, set that off to the side. We are ready to go. I'm going to try to keep my arm out of the way. We're going to want to try to put that tip into the cavities just to fill them up, because I don't know, I have yet to use this mold, and it's the first time, and I'm also not sure how they're going to fill. So we got them all filled. I'll bring you back over to the bench. So here we go. We're going to open this up. Check this out. Oh, it looks like one stayed on a... Oh, it kind of flip-flopped on me. I'm going to put them all onto one side so you can get a better view of them here. How's that, guys? Those came out perfect. No real breakup in the lead or anything like that. I didn't have to use any dropout, Frankfurt dropout. Now, typically I only use dropout when I've got some real small spaces that you need to fill in a cavity of a mold. So if you have like a little bait keeper that's lead made, that is really going to be one of the key factors in getting those filled in, is having that arsenal dropout. It really helps a lot to fill those in. So same process as I normally do here. I'm going to take these out. We are going to very delicately cut the sprues off using a pair of flush cutters. And then when we're done, I will show you a good way. I use a file to clean these up, and I've been starting to kind of play around with that process a little bit, just because I'm trying to not get lead on my hands as little as possible, even though I'm picking these up and I'm touching them. But what I've done is I've decided to do this, where I can hold the file above this cup, and then the spots I really want to sand, I just take the jig and I clean it up. So we go from something like this that has that sharp edge on it, see it, to now something like this that's nice and smooth. Take that burr off of there, and it's ready to go. So just going to quick clean these up, and we only have 6 of them, so shouldn't be too bad. And then once we get these, I'm going to get the paints out, and I'm going to show you the process on the new Nova Stone powder paints from Barlow's, and they are awesome. And I'm trying to think of what colors I want to use right now. I think I only want to do maybe 2 different colors. Then that way you guys get kind of just a good understanding of how they work and how interesting they are, because they are a flake powder paint, so they have like a bigger flake to them, like a bigger glitter. So let me show you those. So I'm gonna put this away. All right, so I've got my black chartreuse, I've got my chartreuse, and I've got my clear. Okay, so the clear is definitely essential. You don't have to have it if you don't want to, but it's going to look rough if you don't. So I'm going to take the black chartreuse. I'm going to show you what it looks like. Okay, so basically what it is a bunch of glitter, and it's got some, I think it has some clear already in it. And what you're going to do is you're going to dip that in there. It's going to be mostly glitter that's going to stick to it. It's going to bond with that little bit of clear that's in there. But then we want to use the clear. This is just clear powder paint. That's all it is. Just a clear powder paint. We're going to use this after the fact to seal it up and give it a nice clear coat. So let's start with the biggest one. And we will do the chartreuse black on this one. I'm going to show you real quick. And typical, same thing that we always do. Heat it up on the heat gun. Get it real nice and hot. I'm going to show you what we're going to do here. We're going to dip this into the black Chartreuse. And once we get done with that, we're going to bring it over to the clear and dip it in the clear. And I went ahead and shook up the black Chartreuse. I'm going to go ahead and shake up the clear a little bit. Get that one ready. Okay. So we're going to go ahead and do this real quick. I'm going to try to do this on camera with you guys. It's getting there. It's kind of cold down here today, so we're going to do this. Okay, and then we're going to bring it back to the heat. I got a nice full coat on there. Okay, now the only thing that you're going to have to do that's going to be a little strange. Okay, so here it is, and you can see how it's kind of dull. I mean, you can see the glitter obviously really well, but you can see how it's kind of a dull finish. So what we're going to do is we're going to heat it back up. Real good. Now the other thing too is, I'm not sure how you clean your hook eyes, or if you do clean your hook eyes. I know a lot of guys, they actually prefer to keep their hook eyes. I'm just going to take this clear. I'm just going to give it a nice little coat, maybe a second coat. Okay, that will put a nice clear coat on top of your jig head. Okay, so now it's nice and shiny all the way around. And now, depending on how much of a clear coat you want on there, is how much you're going to dip it. I think 2 is plenty. I always get a lot of paint and clear coat stuck in the eye, in the hook eye. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to take this tool, and this is just a poker, and I'm just going to run it through that hook eye just to make sure that we get that stuff cleaned out, make sure it's good. And then I take a pair of flush cutters, and if it pushes some of that out of there, just grab it with the flush cutters and pull it off. And then you can take it back to the heat and just heat it up so it's good. And there you go, guys. So black Chartreuse. Awesome color. Probably looks better in person. It's really kind of tough to see on a camera, but it is black and Chartreuse. So I'm going to do a couple more of those. I'm going to do 2 more of those, probably that colorway. And then what we're going to do is we're going to do just the Chartreuse, so I can show you what both look like. So I'm going to get my little baking thing out here so you guys can see that. I've got my jigs. I'm going to put my jigs on here to bake in the toaster oven. And then once we get that done, oh, and by the way, these glitter paints, they are not really intended to be in a fluid bed. I just wanted to share that with you guys. I've been talking with a bunch of other guys, Adam at SDG, a couple other guys, and we've all kind of concurred that you don't want to use these in a fluid bed. They're too heavy, so they have a tough time raising, you know, it has a tough time floating up inside that fluid bed because of how heavy it is. Now, and I don't know if anybody else has run into that situation or not either, but I have had issues with pearl white and black as well. So, and by the way, these are called Nova Stone Double Dazzle glitter paints. The other ones are called Razzle Dazzle. I think the Razzle Dazzle are these ones, the ones that are 2 different colors combined. But really cool. I will link everything below in the video description. Then that way you guys know exactly what to buy if you're interested in these new paints. They are pretty awesome. And as always, use my code B8N Tackle, all one word, to help support the channel. It helps me buy new products to show you guys on the channel. So we're just going to get this guy nice and hot. I'm going to do the same color again, just so that you guys can see how cool these come out. I want to get it nice and hot this time. Here's our paint. Okay, got a nice heavy coat on that time. We're gonna heat it up. Just make sure everything's good and heated. I'm pretty sure it's pretty hot from before. And we're gonna bring it over to the clear. I got 2 light coats clear on there. And then what we're gonna do is bring it back over here and poke that hole out. And I'm not sure how you guys keep your eyes clean. I go back like this and try to just clean them out after the fact. I don't mind that they're painted so much. I don't like them being clogged up with stuff. So I just try to do my best to clean them out. Sometimes after you get done baking them, they get filled up again. And it may take you a few tries here, like this one's taking me a few tries, but now I finally got it. So that eye is nice and clean, nice and clear coated as well, so there's not going to be any issues there as far as anything rubbing or anything like that, and it's not a problem. I think the worst part is when you actually get a jig head that actually had paint on it and you start cracking it, and now you're going to create some sharp edges for those to for the line to catch on. So there's 2. I'm going to go ahead and do the 3rd biggest one, I believe. Yep, I'm going to do another one of the big ones, that same color. And then we'll come back and do Chartreuse. Okay, now we're going to do some Chartreuse. This one is a very cool color. I'm just going to shake it up real good. And that's exactly what it is. A lot of Chartreuse. So we're going to go ahead and take these next 3. I'm just going to do probably 1 or 2 of these just to show you. And then I'll do the other one off camera. And we'll come back and check out what we got. We got to put some eyeballs on these too. I think I've got a couple ideas for some pretty cool eyeballs. But again, just heat this up real hot. Get it good and warm. And you can take it and put it right into the Chartreuse. And look at that. Is that wild or what? Awesome. Glitter powder paint. Love it. So I'm going to heat it up again. Once that gets done, heat it up just a little bit. We're going to take it and dip it in the clear. Okay, and again, we're going to have a bunch in the eye. This has got some smaller glitter, I believe, than the other one does. So we're going to clean that eye out. Okay, doesn't take much. Like I said, put a poker through it. We'll turn it to the heat. There you go. Now it's got a nice clear coat on it. Helps with the protection of the jig. And then we got that eye cleaned out real good. So we're going to go ahead and do 2 more of those, and I'm just going to do 1 more on camera. We're going to heat it up real good. Same thing. And like I said, I think I've got some cool eyeballs to put on these. I might have some Chartreuse type eyes to put on the black ones. I think that would look really cool. And then on the Chartreuse ones, I'm actually thinking a black eye. I think that would look really, really neat, like a blackout eye. So let's go ahead and dip this one. Okay, nice and coated. Bring it back over to the heat a little bit. Get it nice and heated up. And then we pop it in the clear. And like I said, depending on how you like your clear coats, if you want it a little bit heavy, you can dip it a couple times. I've been doing it twice on some just because I think it was just too light of a coat, and then some I just do it once if I get it in there good enough. So again, clean out your eye holes or cover them before you dip. I know a lot of people do that too. Turn to heat, just get that nice and smooth. And voila. Pretty awesome. And I love the style of this mold. These are going to be really cool with a nice swim bait on the back. So let me finish up the last one. I'm going to get some eyeballs out. We'll come back to the bench and I'll show you what we got. So we've got our jig heads out. And I put the first eyeball on the biggest one we have, which is a 1/2 ounce. And this is a 7mm eye. That fits pretty good, and it looks pretty good too. So we're gonna go ahead and take that off. I'm gonna go ahead and put those on there. I didn't have any Chartreuse in size 7. So unfortunately, it's just gonna be these black and silver eyes, which is fine. So we're gonna go ahead and put these on. I like to take a X-Acto knife and drop them on. I put a little dot of super glue on there, gel type, and that is Loctite. And what I did was I actually cut the bottom off so I could get more of the glue out, because they don't let you use all the glue in the tube. But if you cut the outside bottle off, I'll show you a little hack. You get them like this, Loctite super glue. This is ultra gel control, and then you can cut the rest of it off. You can cut the body off, and then you still got the tube. So there's still quite a bit left in that tube. So I'm just trying to maximize how much glue I get out of these tubes. So we're gonna roll it over to the other side, put an eyeball on, and with a fish, you know that the teardrop part, the point part, actually faces forward. But in this case, because this is a jig head, I'm actually going to go towards the hook eye. So that's the way I'm going to do it on this. So there, looks pretty good. Now the next one down, I'm actually going to use a 6mm because it's a little bit smaller, and it is like a chartreuse. I think they call it a lime color, and I think this is going to look awesome on this next one. This is a 7/16. So I'm going to put a drop there, and these don't matter the direction of the eyeball. Look at that. I like that eye. So I may have to get some more of those in a 7. So just see that other side without the eye. That's what it looks like with the eye. So we're going to go ahead and put the eye on the other side. And the only thing about these, you might want to hang these back up, as I don't know how long it's going to take to dry that glue, and you don't want the eyeball moving around too much on you. And the one thing I'm going to show you guys a little bit here too, hopefully this stuff dries pretty quick, but one thing I'm going to show you too is I figured out I had this kicking around the shop and I haven't used it in a long time, and this is OS Coatings Vinyl Lure and Jig Finish. This works amazing on top of eyeballs to retain that clearness to it. Gives it a nice shiny clear like gloss coat over it, and it hardens really well, and it also covers up any of the, like if you get that super glue residue on lures and jig heads and whatnot when you put eyeballs on, like if you put a little bit too much glue on there, it really helps coat that. So again, OS Coatings Vinyl Lure and Jig Finish. Also, I think this is available at Barlow's if I'm not mistaken. And again, I will link all this stuff below in the description. And we're going to go ahead and put these on the next size down as well. This is 3/8. Not a ton of glue, just enough to, just a dab to hold that eyeball in place. Put it in the center where you want it. And hopefully you don't get any glue on your finger. And that kind of stuff too. So like if you got a little bit of glue on your finger, got a little bit of it on the eye, you could go ahead and put some of that stuff over top of it, and it will clear coat over top of that eye. I was using UV resin for a while and doing it, but I found that some of the eyes that I used, some of the stuff I used, the UV resin was actually coming off of the jig head, and I'm not sure if that's because this is such a clear coat finish and then when I put the UV resin on there, it just comes off because it's not, doesn't have really a really good surface to stick to. It's not rough to stick to it, and that could be the problem. But look at that, that came out fantastic. So Freestyle jigs. Now I'm going to switch over to the smaller ones that are just Chartreuse, and we're going to put some eyeballs on those. And I'm going to try to put a 6mm on this bigger one of the three, which is a 3/16. We'll see if that fits well. Let's see. I'm just going to dry fit it. Yeah, it'll fit well. So we're going to go ahead and do the Chartreuse one here. Drop a glue. Eyeball. These ones don't matter the direction either because there's no pupil or nothing. You just glue it and go. Okay. Other one. Bam. Glue it. Set it. Go. Done. Look at that. Awesome. Chartreuse with a solid black eye. Beautiful jig. Love it. So just be careful. Like I said, actually you can lay these on their backs. I didn't even think about that. Just figured that out. Lay these on their backs, and that way you're not moving the eyes around when they're drying. Okay, or hang them up. I like to hang them up too. I don't think this is probably too big for that. Yeah, it's too big for that one. So we're gonna downsize to a 5mm, and I have that also solid black. So we're going to go ahead, put a dab of glue on these. And I actually prefer that these are the Gami hooks because I prefer Gami over Mustad. Mustad's not a bad hook. Mustad's actually a really good hook, but those Gamis are super, super sharp. So there you go, solid black eye. Let's get this last one glued up. And then I think we're gonna wrap this video up, guys. Last one. So for eye sizes, it doesn't tell you on the mold, it just tells you to use 3D stick-on eyeballs. Got my finger stuck on that one. Oh, I got my finger stuck on the other side of the other one too. I'm getting glue all over my fingers here, guys. Let's see if I can fix this real quick. Hopefully there's enough glue there. That one kind of moved a little bit too. Okay, I'm just gonna let them settle, but it looks good. Let that sit there and settle dry. I'm gonna put these eyeballs away, and we are going to wrap this video up. All right, so we're all set, all done. Got one of each size made up. We did the black Chartreuse, Nova Stone, powder paints on these, amazing. And I think it's Razzle, Dazzle, and something else I can't remember. I will definitely include the description in the bottom. I get these at Barlow's. I got the mold at Barlow's. I got the hooks at Barlow's. Everything came from Barlow's except for the lure eyes. The lure eyes I get from a place called Lady Fly Tyer. I may even just put that in the description as well. She does a pretty good job of making these little eyeballs, and I get all different sizes. We used a 5, a 6, and a 7mm eyeball for these. And again, hook size wise, this calls for a 1/0 to a 6/0, but I went ahead and did a 3/0, 4/0, 4/0, 5/0, 5/0, and 5/0. So you can change the hook sizes on these, no problems. I used 5, 4, and 3. You could go down and get the smaller ones, 1/0, 2/0, 3/0, 4/0, 5/0, 6/0, whatever you want. That's what I use. And we also use Gamakatsu hooks, 114s, instead of the Mustad 32 746s. There probably is some other hooks out there you could use as well. Victory probably has one. You could probably use those too. I'm not sure about Eagle Claw. They are just a 90-degree hook, but keep in mind the length of the hook you want. So really that's the important part, is the length of hook you want. I'm gonna put paddle tails on these, and probably these two, some smaller ones, but these I'm definitely going to put some paddle tails on and use these. So really excited. I may give some of these away in the giveaway. I'm not sure yet, but we're coming up on 2,000 subscribers. I would like to do a giveaway at 2,500. We're also going to do a giveaway on my Instagram channel as well. My Instagram is at really close to 3,000. If we get to 3,000, I'm definitely doing a giveaway, and I'm going to do some jigs, some underspins, some swim baits. So stay tuned for that. We're getting really close. But go follow me on Instagram. Definitely subscribe, and we're going to continue to make some killer content. I'm going to try to show you as many molds as possible going forward, and I'm really happy to do so. I love doing this kind of stuff. All right, guys, well, that's going to wrap it up for today's video. I hope you really enjoyed that. That was the Freestyle Jig, and this is the FST-6-A. That's the mold we used today. You can get all this at Barlow's. I'm not sure if this mold is available. It comes and goes. Sometimes it's there, sometimes it's not. Like I said, I was looking for it for at least like 6 months for a while there, and I could not find it. Once I actually did it where you can do it at Barlow's, where you can mark it to remind you later, like it'll email you automatically later if it becomes available. I did that on this mold, and they let me know when it came into stock, and I bought it immediately because I knew that it was hard to get. So great mold. I also have the smaller one. We may do that in a future video at some point, but I also wanted to definitely show you guys these new Nova Stone glitter powder paints, Razzle, Dazzle something. I'm gonna put the descriptions in the description of the video down below. That way you guys can see these. You can go pick these up. Don't forget to pick you up some clear to go with it, and clear coat these things when they're done. It gives a really awesome finish. But like I said, these came out phenomenal. I'm super stoked. The paint job, the quality of the paint, everything so far is so good. So thank you guys again so much for watching. I appreciate all your support, and as always, remember to keep on baiting.